Hi, I'm Patrick Feely,
And I am Rafael Corletta.
and this is the
The
RAM
RAM Report.
Student Recognition Day is in the Stower Ballroom of the Student Center on Tuesday, April 23rd at 3 p.m.
The Europe Study Abroad Tour information session will be in the Center for Contemporary Arts 1, Room GO3, also on Tuesday, April 23rd at 5 p.m.
Then on Wednesday, April 24th, Thursday, April 25th, and Friday, April 26th, there will be a campus clothing swap in the Student Center, Ramsden, at 11 a.m.
And there will be a book signing by Dr. James Broomwall, director of the George Tyler Moore Center for the Study of the Civil War, for his book Private Confederacies, The Emotional Worlds of Southern Men as Citizens and Soldiers, on Wednesday, April 24th at 5:30 p.m.
There will be a plant sale in front of the Wellness Center at 11 a.m. on Thursday, April 25th. App proceeds will go to the supporting the Table Farm.
At 7 p.m. on Thursday, April 25th, there will be a Jazz and Java at the Center for Contemporary Arts 2 in the Marianoff Theater. Cost is $15 for general admission, $10 for seniors. Shepherd faculty, staff, and alumni, and children under the age of 18. It is also free for Shepherd students with a valid Rambler ID.
Friday, April 26th is the last day of classes and the last day for complete withdrawal from the semester.
There will be the 58th McMurrin Convention at the last lecture with speaker Dr. Georgian Toole in the Frank Center Theater on Friday, April 26th at 5 p.m., with a reception to follow in the McCoy Rehearsal Hall.
Reminder that the first day of final exams begins on Monday, April 29th. My name has been Patrick Feely.
And Rafael Corletta.
And this has been your RAM Report.
Please welcome the founder of the Society for Creative Writing, Dr. Hope Maxwell Snyder.
Hello, I'm very happy to be here today.
Dr. Snyder is Shepherdstown's Poet Laureate and Shepherd University's first poet in residence.
True.
First off, Dr. Snyder, can you explain to our audience what the Society of Creative Writing is and what is the Society's goal?
Well, so the Society for Creative Writing is an organization that I've started. I was invited by President Mary Hendricks to do it after a reading I gave here on campus. And so I decided, she and I had conversations, and we talked about poetry, literature, and what it was like to be out in the world as a writer. And so she invited me to think about creating an organization here in Shepherdstown and at Shepherd University. So for 8 years, I actually ran a poetry festival in Shepherdstown that I founded myself. And so I had that experience, and I definitely have a passion for literature. So when President Hendricks and I talked about it, we brainstormed and then came up with this idea. So what is the Society for Creative Writing? It's a society that is dedicated to fostering literature, the reading of literature, the writing of literature, the audience for literature, and in this case, this time, I'm including poetry, prose, and fiction as well. So this is more ambitious than the Poetry Festival. My aim is to bring writers from across I was going to say the world, but really across the country and international, which would be across the world, to Shepherdstown and to the Shepherd University campus to share their views about the writing process, to teach workshops so students and community members can benefit, and to read their work. I also actually am interested in translation, since I was born in Colombia and raised in Colombia, and so translation would be a part of it.
Sounds quite enriching. Now, the Society for Creative Writing just had its inaugural event this past February. What inspired you to create the society in the first place, as you previously mentioned?
Right. Well, as a writer, I work alone most of the time. As writers, those of us who are writers, actually know we have to spend a lot of time by ourselves writing. But we also need community. We need, at least I do, like-minded people who are interested in the word, who are interested in new ideas. And so, because I am a Shepherdstown resident and my family lives in Shepherdstown, part of my desire was selfish, I would say. I would like to bring, and I'm also fortunate because I know people. I am the assistant director of Bread Love in Sicily, which is, Bread Love is one of the oldest writers' conferences in the country. And so I've met very interesting people throughout the years, and in a selfish way, I wanted to bring them here to me rather than have me going all over the world. That's one selfish need. But then, of course, there's the desire to share what I've learned with others.
Well, I wouldn't say that's completely selfish. They're enriching this town, which is a good thing. You're welcome. Now, on Shepherd's website, it says that the Creative Writing Society aims to expose students to professionals in the writing field, thus giving them the opportunity to explore different ways in which writing can enrich their lives and help prepare them for the future, regardless of career choice. With that in mind, how do you think the Society for Creative Writing can benefit students going into non-creative writing fields?
Well, here's what I believe. I have 3 children, and I've raised my children exposing them to all kinds of different worlds and situations. For instance, we travel as much as we can, and one of the reasons that I actually started the Poetry Festival was to bring poets to not only to my town, because this is now my town, very far from Bogota, where I was born, but it is my town. It has become my town, but also to my family, and I've experienced how my children were enriched by having these poets hanging around my house. And so, let's say that there's a student at Shepherd who is a major in computer science, and they're not necessarily interested in literature. But if they were to come to one of our readings, they might discover a passion for writing that they didn't even know they had. I've had people, based on the Poetry Festival, come to me and say, I had never been to a poetry reading. I had no idea that it could be so powerful. Now, I'm not saying everybody who comes is going to be touched by the magic of words, but I think a student, I believe in a Renaissance education. I believe that no matter what your major is, it doesn't matter what you study, it doesn't matter what you end up doing in your life, because it may be many things, since we're living longer now. I think words, I think art and literature will make an impact, and do make an impact on the human mind, spirit, and heart. And therefore, any student at Shepherd who attends any of the events I organize will be better for it, I think, or at least I hope.
No, I agree with that sentiment entirely. Now, during the event in February, you and the former poet laureate Michael Collier each presented some of your poetry. Collier even held workshops with students. And I was wondering, were there plans to bring in other poets and authors to present at Shepherd and work with students to inspire them, like you've mentioned?
Yes, actually, we recently had Temple Cone, who is the poet laureate of Annapolis, come, and he was going to give a reading, but unfortunately there was another event going on at organized by the English department. So I didn't want to be competing with the department with the writing, also the writing, creative writing. But he taught a workshop, and I actually attended it because I wanted to observe, and also as a writer, I'm very curious about learning. There's always something new to learn, and that was done. Took place in March. I'm organizing the largest event probably for this year, which is the Literary Festival in the fall, October 10th to 13th, and I've already invited about 6 different national writers, American, established in America.
Oh, well, that, as I said before, sounds very enriching.
Thank you.
Now, there was also a postponed event with Temple Cone, the inaugural poet laureate of Annapolis.
Right.
Is that event going to be rescheduled anytime soon?
Well, I have to say that I would love to bring Temple Cone. As I said, he taught the workshop, but what he didn't do was read from his work.
Yeah, that's a pity.
It was a pity for me, especially after I sat in his workshop and I saw how wise and well-read he is, and what a terrific poet. So the answer is yes, I would like to reschedule that event, but I would like to reschedule it during a time when more people can attend.
Oh, I'd love to see that event. Now, will the Society for Creative Writing and Samodico Press help its members potentially have their work published? Or is it mainly striving for exposure of established writers?
I believe that reading and listening to people who are established writers read their work and taking a course or a workshop are the most valuable things you can do as a young writer. However, I understand that most of us, or many of us, want our work out in the world. We want to share it, we want to publish. There's a whole publishing craze, I would call it. And now, of course, we can self-publish. We have all kinds of outlets that we didn't have before. While at this moment, I don't have a plan to bring agents to Shepherdstown, literary agents who would represent people. I am planning to invite a couple of editors for the literary festival. Right now, I have Mark Drew from the Gettysburg Review, which is a very well-established journal, who has agreed to come and give a very informal talk. And also I have Barrett Warner from the Free State Review in Maryland, who's going to participate not only as a poet, but also as an editor. Samodico Press is a press that I founded myself, so I definitely believe in publishing writers and in the value of spreading our message, what we have to say, but at the same time, I'm also very careful about what I choose, and I try to downplay the press because I'm interested in the word and the love and the passion for the word before the publication.
Well, that's a noble sentiment.
Thank you.
Now, in terms of publishing, do you think for young writers, is it better to self-publish or to publish with a major publishing company?
Well, it depends on how eager you are to share your work. I would say do not self-publish. I don't have those sort of ideas about this is right, or this is the canon, or this is the accepted way to do it. I think what I would advise young writers, which is what older writers have been advising me for many years before I was published, is to do the best you can. Write the best poem, or the best play, or the best novel, or the best essay. Do the best you can. And then go about trying to publish it. And if you don't find a publisher, or if you feel that your work merits having other people read it, then I don't have a problem with self-publishing whatsoever. I think you should think about quality, regardless of what you write and where you publish it.
Now, the audience and I would love to hear some of your work. Do you mind reading?
Thank you. No, I would love to read. I can read a poem from my book, from my recent book.
Yes, please.
And I mean, I think here's a poem that, as you know, I was born in Colombia, and so therefore I lived there for many years. And this is a poem I wrote about a cousin of mine in Bogota. I lived with her for a year. So the poem is titled, "The Year I Lived with My Cousin." She shortens her uniform skirt, and during recess at Sagrado Corazon, drinks aguardiente and coke she brings from home. At 16, she has a woman's body, wide hips, a short frame she carries on platform shoes, clunky like geisha sandals. This is the year of our first boyfriends, the Mustafa brothers, Palestinian exiles studying Spanish in college. This is the year I leave for Maryland to meet my brother and mother, the year before my cousin becomes a mother. Using a safety pin, she traces the shape of her heart on her wrist over and over again until blood stains her blouse. "This is how you do it," she tells me, licking her skin, wiping the stain with a tissue. It hurts, but you get used to it.
That's beautiful, Doctor.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you very much.
Now, for information on joining the Society for Creative Writing, please visit www.shepherd.edu/society for creative writing to see how to become involved and to keep up with future events. This was Rafael Corletta with Shepherdstown's poet laureate, Dr. Hope Snyder. Thank you for joining us at the Ram Report.